Hey, what's up, everybody? Assuming that everybody's watching. So today we got the 737-800 Boeing. We got a full load of cargo to take from Ontario. One of my favorite spots to fly out of, even though sometimes during the day it looks like crap graphics-wise. To Portland. PDX. KPDX. So yeah, let's get started. Let's see here. Alright, so first off, we need some ground power. So let's get some ground power connected. And I'm gonna try to do this full flight. It's kind of long, but you know, might be some quiet spots here and there. I tend to go away from the mic for a little bit, or zone out a little bit, but yes, maybe you'll see that. Anyway, we got the ground power connected. Let's come up here, get the battery on. Bam. Get the ground power. We are fully powered. Pop that down. Let's see if I can remember this flow correctly, because I am still a rookie. I know some stuff, but I don't know everything. I'm still learning. And any type of feedback would be cool if someone's watching that knows how to play, or if someone's watching that don't know how to play but they just know the knowledge. That'd be cool too. I am open for bad comments, or good comments. They don't even matter. I take structural criticism very well, but be careful though, because I can dish that shit back just as much as I can take it. So, you know, just a heads up on that. Alright, so we got the power going. Let's come down here. We don't need to do anything right there. Don't need to do anything right here. Let's come back up. Let's get the nav turned on. Boom. Bam. Bam. Alright. Let's come back down. I think we gotta turn on the locks for the doors. Smack that down. Get that going. See, don't need anything down here. Position lights are already on. We'll turn on the beacon once we get ready to start rolling. Back up here, let's get the heat on. I'm gonna try to do this without forgetting anything. I've said in a video before, my past video, I tend to forget the seatbelt lights all the time, and I forget the flaps constantly. And it starts buzzing at me when I get ready to take off because I forgot to set the flaps. And sometimes I forget to turn the APU off. I don't know what that would do in real life, if you could fly with the APU on or not. I don't know if that's a thing or not, so I don't know. On here, it doesn't do anything. You know, you can still fly, take off, and all that stuff. I don't even think it warns you, you know, about having it on. Maybe it does. But yeah, so those are some of the things I forget constantly, and I'm working on it. I'm trying to. A lot of times I'm brushing through, but I'm trying to take my time today so that way I don't forget anything. All right, where were we at? All right, yeah, we turned the heat on. All right, let's come down here, turn the packs on. Turn that on because we can. Let's see. Oh, I need to have these on actually for this aircraft because I won't be able to open the cargo door without any power. Let's see, alright, we got that going. Our altitude today is going to be 38,000. Now see, this says it's set for auto, but I've never seen it change up to the flight that I'm supposed to, the cruise altitude I'm supposed to be at. So on this aircraft, I like to change it myself just in case. I don't want no mess ups. And I don't know what the landing altitude is yet, even though again it's all set on auto, so it should just automatically do it. I was about to say audibly do it. It should automatically do it. but I haven't seen the numbers change on that either when I'm coming in for final. So maybe they don't need to be there and the aircraft just takes over still and does what it does, and I don't need to see, you know, visually see the numbers set in here, which I guess that could be a thing, but I like to do it anyway just because it helps with my immersion. So once I get the landing altitude from the runway we're landing on in Portland, I'll put that in. So let's see, again, we don't need the beacon on yet. We don't need the logo lights on, it's daytime. Let's see, let's reset the camera. I think we are okay right now. I'm not gonna turn the APU on just yet, because I was told by a birdie that in real life they normally don't turn the APU on until last minute to save on fuel, because APU eats up some of the fuel. So I'll wait on that. I'll get the loading started though while we're doing all this. So let's see, get that going, and it doesn't matter on who. Flight director's on. Good on that. Definitely want the terrain on because we got mountains in the area. Alright, so now that we got that going, let's go see if we can open up. Oh, it's opening up already. Perfect. Perfect. I struggled on that because I didn't know how to open that up last time I was flying, and I ended up figuring it out. And it took a while to figure out, but there's some buttons that you have to get up out of your seat and hit and turn on and stuff. Also, it needs to have hydraulic power or fluid going to it, so you have to make sure you turn on the electric.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
But yeah, so it looks like we're good to go. They're loading stuff up, and once they get close enough to being done, like I said, I'll turn the APU on and get that going. So let's finish the rest of this stuff. Alright, up here I don't think I need to do anything. As I said, I was done with that. Turn that off. Let's get our flight plan punched in. Get rid of that message. Go up to the FMC. Position in it. Alright, let's put in our position of where we are actively at right now in the airport, which is the GPS left, which is because this is the pilot seat, and then GPS right, which would be obviously the same thing by one number, because that would be the co-pilot. So put that, and we'll go back to previous, pop that in, go to our route once it loads up. There we go. Oh, you know what? I didn't put the flight pan in our flight bag. Alright, so let's request from SimBrief, because that's where I punched in the flight plan and it loaded it up, which is nice. And let's see, what's the route? Oh, okay, 774 nautical miles. That's not bad. I always try to stay under 1,000, because even with speeding the sim up a little bit when I'm in cruise, it seems to take a while. One day I'll do a flight overseas or something from like JFK to London or something, but that's like way over 1,000 nautical miles, and I don't know if I have time like that. Plus my patience is, you know, I don't know if I could talk that long. That's like, if you don't speed up the sim, it'll be real life, and that's like a 14-hour flight. I don't even know. I'm just guessing. But alright, so we got that in and loaded up, so now we can come back down here and request the flight plan that we just put in there to get put into the computer on here. And now that it's requested, let's set the payload, set, clear that message, set the fuel, clear that message, and then we'll go back to the route. And so it's still highlighted because it's still requesting. So once the request goes through, down here to say it'll give us access to be able to load it up in there. So, oh, there it is. Let's load that bad boy. It's loading up, and we don't know the runway yet. Again, just like my last video. So, because I like to do it this way, so that way once we have the flight plan loaded, because I can very well put the runway on here that I have for my flight plan, but like I said before, ATC, they might give us a different one depending on something I didn't see or didn't read or something, you know, weather-wise or just for whatever reason. So let's get rid of this message real quick, and let's get our clearance, and then they'll be able to give us our runway and just go from there, I guess. So our runway today, though, that I have in the flight plan that I created is for runway 26 left. So we will see if they give us the same or if it's something different. Ontario clearance, this is FedEx 257, looking for IFR clearance to Portland.
Clearance on request, stand by.
See what they give us.
FedEx 257, Ontario clearance, cleared to Portland via the Sunshine 5 departure. Then as filed, climb and maintain 4000. Expect flight level 38010 minutes after departure. Departure on 127.0, squawk 2651. Expect runway 26 left.
Yeah, they gave us 26 left. Cool. Let me call them back real quick. Cleared to Portland via the Sunshine 5 departure, then it's filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect flight level 38010 minutes after departure. Departure is going to be on 127.0. Our squawk is 2651, and we are expecting runway 26 left for FedEx 257. And we're good to activate that.
Ground is on 121.9, a safe flight, sir.
And we'll execute it. Thanks. Goodbye. Alright, so we got that punched in.
FedEx 257, Ontario clearance. Have a good day.
And alright, so they need us to be at 4,000 max once we start taking off. Boom, got that in there. We got this loaded in. I think I can turn on the VNav. Nope, not yet. Alright, so let's go down here. Let's put our squawk in. So something that I learned, that our squawk, it took me a while to figure out where to put it in and all that stuff. But I learned from a birdie that the squawk is pretty much their way of tracking us while we are in the air. So if our squawk is put in wrong, we won't get radio calls from them or anything like that. And by chance, if they do see us but don't know who we are, they'll ask us to punch in the squawk they gave or give us a new squawk. And once we put that in, they'll be able to spot us on the radar and know what aircraft we are, which is pretty cool. Because yeah, they won't know our aircraft. They might see us on radar, but they don't know if it's a Boeing 747 or if it's a little Cessna. If I'm correct, if I learned that correct, I believe that's what it is. Alright, so we'll click that on there. Our squawk is in. Let's see, 2651. Yeah, alright, we're good. Let's get ground on here. So what do you say? 127.0. So 127.0. Let's move that over. Ontario ground, this is FedEx 257, just doing a radio check.
FedEx 257, SoCal departure, you're coming in loud and clear.
Alright, so we're good on that. So when we were ready to push back and start our engines, we are already set to ground and we'll be able to talk and do what we need to do. Alright, so let's see what else. We need to go back to the FMC and finish this. So let's go to perf init, we'll put in the 0 fuel weight. And then, so our reserves are gonna be on our flight plan. So you have to read the briefing on your flight plan you create to know what that is. And it's listed on your flight plan, from what I can tell, as ferns. And it gives you a 4-digit number, but you only have to put the first 2 in there with a decimal. So like, for instance, it's telling me 2,333. I'm gonna put 2.2. So 2.2 for our reserves. And the reserves is just like in case you got an emergency and you can't land for whatever reason and you have to go to your secondary airport. Your reserves of fuel is gonna be based off of how much reserves you have for the distance of whatever airport you can make it to. And then so our cost index is going to be nice 5. So the lower the number, the less fuel you burn in the skies on cruise. Let's see, we're going to 38,000 today, so 380. For our cruise altitude, our cruise wind up there is going to be heading 146 and gusting up to 51 miles an hour. That's a lot. Alright, so let's see. That's good, that's good, that's good. Alright, we can execute. And then let's go to the M1 limits. We don't know what our cell temp is gonna be yet, so we need to come over here to the flight bag, go to weight and balance first. We'll load that. Alright, good on that. Go to performance, and we know what runway we're gonna have, so we put in 26 left. It puts the rest of the numbers in for us, and it is dry, it's not raining today. And we'll import this info from the aircraft, and we'll import the weather. Boom, we're good to go. So now we can calculate what our N1 and all that stuff is going to be. So our flaps is going to be at 50. We don't need that yet. We need the cell temp, 34 Celsius. Let's put 34. And our takeoff is TO2. We'll make sure we put this down to TO2. We're good on that. So now our flaps was going to be 5. And now we can just match these numbers and make sure they're the same. If it's off by a number or 2, I think it'll be okay. 141, 141, 145. And it matches completely. So let's pop that in, boom. Alright, so we're good to go on that. Now we got to put the trim percentage in for our takeoff. And so that's 24.95. That in 24.5. Good on that now. So now we can go back to the index. We can go to our departure and arrival is what we need next. So for my flight plan, we are, well, what ATC gave us is Sunshine 5 departure. So there it is right there. Pop that in, and then I don't know if we have a transition. We do. EHF is a transition, so we'll pop that in. The runway is already selected, so we're good. Execute. And now we can go back to the index, go for our arrival, and put that in. So what we have on the ATC won't give it to us until we get close. So you always got to put in what you have in for your flight plan, and they might give you something different, you know. And then so you just gotta be ready to change at any moment. But it looks like we are Timbers 3 for our arrival, so let's find that. There it is. And we do have a transition, so I think it's Moxie. Yep, Moxie, and the runway we got is 10 left. One of my favorites. We're doing the ILS approach today. I I don't know if we have a transition, so I am going to leave that off for now because ATC likes to give us our arrival, but then vector us in on approach. So yeah, I'll leave the transition alone and we'll execute. Boom. Yeah, we're good. Go to route. All that stuff looks good. So let's go to the legs. Make sure we don't have any discrepancies. That looks good. Yep, that looks good. There's one right there. Oh, discontinuity. I don't even know what word I said before that. Discrepancies? I can't even say that right. Alright, so basically when this happens, you can just click on that one and move it into the blank. And now once you hit this spot, you will automatically come here. If that blank spot was still there, they didn't have anywhere to go, you'd have to vector to this checkpoint yourself and put in the heading. But that's good. Now the autopilot automatically take us there. So let's execute that. Make sure we don't have any more of those. And see, so there's a vectors. Normally, when we get right here, ATC a call and they'll vector us in. So I'll leave that there, make it more realistic. And it goes all the way down to this one and then to our runway. So it looks like we're good. Cool. All right. So now that that's good and we got that going, let's bring up the route data. Looks like the winds are already in, but again, I like to make sure they're truly good. So I do it anyway. And it might even be the same exact numbers that pop up after I load it up and stuff, but I still do it just in case. Requested, there it is. It's ready to load. Load it. And let's execute it. Boom. And the numbers kind of look the same, so, but I think we're good. Let's get rid of that message. That's something that I'm getting better at too, is getting rid of the messages, because the messages will overlap, and so you won't know, like if you haven't paid attention to them, you won't know you have messages before the message that you're seeing. So every time I see a message pop up, I get rid of it just in case a new one pops in, so that way I know, you know, it's you know, a new one and I can read it. All right, so it looks like we're good. Let's go back to the legs, and now we can toss on the VNav. And I'll toss on the heading just in case. I'll wait for the auto throttle. Let's get the brakes on auto. Arming on full auto, just in case we have to stop. Looks like everything is good. Set up over here. So now let's get this APU turned on. We're getting ready to go. I think they're done loading. Yeah, it looks like they're done loading, so let's get them out of here. Yeah, see, I don't know if it's my graphics card or if it's the streaming graphics into the game, but all of my stuff looks like crap. I'm running at 3060, so you know, realistically I should have something that looks better than this, but I think it looks better in the air than it does on the ground. It's a lot to take in. Alright, so we got the APU coming on. There it is right there. And we are good. Let's get that fully down. That's okay. Alright. So now we got the APU running. I'm just going to turn all these on now. Get up there. Alright, so let's close this cargo door. See if I remember how. Alright, so go to open. Let's unlock. Oh yeah, see, I don't know how to close it. It says it's in transit. But I don't see it in transit, so maybe if I come down here and ask it to close, it will. So let's see. Alley, stairs, door, close that door. There we go. That door's closed. Now we need the cargo door though. And the doors. Says it's closing, but it's not. See, it's still open. Let's see if I can tell it to close on here. Ground operation, doors. Go close all doors. Nope. Yeah, let's see. Alright. I don't know why. Let's see here. Yeah, see, this is where the rookiness comes in. Don't know why it's not letting me trigger this down, so let's unarm it. Won't let me bring that down either. And it says it's unlocked. That was to go up. Now it's off. There it goes. Now it's going down. Alright, cool. Turn that off. Let's see. Electrical, because we don't have the engines on yet. And flight control, as in this bad boy. I always forget to turn on the yaw dampeners. So now that we got everything running, let's turn those on. I don't think we need anything else. Looks like we're good. Except for the engine, so let's call for a push. Ontario ground, this is FedEx 257 looking to push and start. Alright, let's get rid of the chocks and release the ground power actually. And so alright, let's get this beacon on now. Get rid of the ground power. Alright, so that's off, and now we can release it. And let's remove the chocks.
Release parking brakes, please.
Alright.
Commencing push. All engines clear, start at will.
Alright, we're good to set up our engines. Start with 1, put that over. Oh, I always forget that. Get these packs off. Oh. Yeah, we got those numbers coming in. I believe on this aircraft you don't have to wait. You can just, once the numbers start moving, just feed the fuel to the engines. I think on the 737 MAX though, you have to wait. It winds all the way up to like 24, and then it stops for a second because the engines are winding up still. And then once it starts moving again to like 26 or something like that, I think 27 is when you can feed the fuel to it. If I'm correct, I might be wrong. Alright, so that was good. Let's move this one over, start this second one. See if we can get moving pretty quick since it took so long. Okay, those numbers are good. Turn that bad boy on. They'll ask for a good engine start, and we have one, so we'll tell them yeah. Everything looks good. Hope I'm not forgetting nothing.
Please set parking brakes.
Alright, let's set that.
Awaiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Yeah, we have one.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Alright. Add on. Packs back on. Turn that off. Turn off the APU. Put that in auto.
Unlocking gear.
Make sure y'all dampeners are still on. Good, we're good. Alright, I don't think I forgot anything. That back in the middle.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Ooh, we can turn on the taxi
Left
light.
is clear. Right is clear.
That the left is clear and the right is clear. I'm just scanning stuff right now, just making sure everything's good. Oh, let's get our flaps down right now. So let's click that in. 1 degree, 2 degree of flaps, and 5. Yeah, that looks good. APU just turned off. We're good to move. Ontario ground, this is FedEx 257, ready to taxi. Ontario ground, this is FedEx 257, ready to taxi.
FedEx 257, Ontario ground, runway 26 left taxi via Kilo, hold short of runway 8 left, then Kilo, hold short of runway 8 right, then Sierra, uniform.
Alright, let's see if we can get that. Let's go. Yeah, let's give it a little bit more boost. Yeah, so this will be my first full flight video, and honestly, I don't even know if I'll be able to load it all up, but I'm gonna try. And I really don't know how long the flight's gonna take, honestly. Once I get up into cruise, I'll definitely speed it up, so that way it doesn't take too long. But my brain says what to talk about. What do I talk about while that's happening? I got no clue. None. So I think next time I do this, I'll probably just have to go live or something, so that way I can get a chat and we can all just bullshit and talk about stuff, questions, and knowledge, really, because I'm looking for whatever knowledge anybody has to give me.
FedEx 257, cross runway 8 left, then continue taxi via Kilo, hold short of runway 8 right, then Sierra, uniform.
Alright, he gave us the go-ahead to cross. I didn't have to ask. Can appreciate that. Oh, there was an issue that I was having with the ATC before I started playing again, and it would give us our route and tell us to stop, you know, at a certain spot before we cross the runway. And so I'd get there and I'd ask, but then they would tell me that I'm ready, you know, ready for takeoff. And that's because they're having me stop on a certain part of the runway to cross it, and that runway is the one I'm supposed to take off on. And so they think that I'm ready to take off instead of knowing that I'm asking them, hey, can I cross? Slow this bad boy down a little bit because I think I might be speeding. I might have been. I think 30 knots is the official speed limit. And like on turning, I think a lot of people like going 10 knots, even though I just took that at 25. So yeah, don't pay attention to that. It's just a sim. I'm not a real pilot in any way, shape, or form. I'd like to be. I'd like to get my private one day, and then I can take my boy up and we can fly around and stuff. That'd be an amazing thing. I've gotten to take him up and fly him one time, so it was my very first time flying an aircraft, and my boy's very first time flying in a small aircraft. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't a Cessna, but it was definitely, you know, similar size. We went up for like 45 minutes, and I got to fly around, and he got to have his headset on and talk to me and look out the windows and stuff. That definitely was a milestone. It was a selfish milestone for myself and also for him, though, because I wanted him to experience that and to see his dad fly. See, it's gonna have us. Alright, let's call tower and let them know we are ready. Ontario Tower, this is FedEx 257. We are ready for departure.
FedEx 257, Ontario Tower, runway 26 left, wind 230 at 7. RNAV tank clear for takeoff.
Ontario Tower, this is FedEx 257, RNAV to Dank, we are cleared for takeoff. FedEx 257. Alright, let's get this going. Take these brakes off. Oh, since we're RNAVing, we don't even need the heading bug, so I'll turn that on. Once we get lined up, I'll get the heading lined up on the runway, just in case. Alright, let's get this auto throttle on. That's good. Let's see, altitude's good. Let's get our heading correct, even though we're not using it just yet. There There we go, that's good. Let's see, all this stuff is good. Check, 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 check. Mic check. Alright, and let's get my ATC back up and going, because for some reason it stopped on me. Alright. Let's... Sure. Yep. Block is in. Alright. Ooh. Well, I like to get these numbers up to 40. Only because I was so used to doing it in the 737 MAX. Yeah, that's good right there. Get rid of this brake. And toga. Hey, it's not screaming at me that I forgot my flaps.
80 knots.
Alright, 80 knots. Coming up on the V1. And slightly rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Positive rate of climb. Let's get these wheels up. The mountains that I know so well. Alright, let's see. Let's get this autopilot on. We are more than enough height to get it going. Boom. Looks like everything is going to plan so far. And another thing I forget, honestly, is putting my flaps up. I forget to put them down, and I forget to put them up. So a lot of times it'll bottom out at like 240 for a while until I realize, oh, it told me to put my flaps up and I didn't. And we've hit 4,000, which is what ATC wanted. Oh, they want us to contact departure. So let's hit departure. Ontario departure, this is FedEx 257, we are flight level 4,000.
FedEx 257, Tijuana Tower, Roger, descend 4,000.
I don't know what he said, but around 4,000 until they say something different. Yeah, see, another thing I've been running into issues with my say intentions, which is the ATC I'm using. It always, the screen goes out and it tells me to, gives me the option to reconnect or a new flight. But if I do a new flight, then it'll get rid of everything I just did in the beginning of this. But it won't reconnect, even though I'm hitting the reconnect button. So a lot of times I need to just exit out of the whole thing and bring it back up. And I gotta do it fast because we have mountains coming up and it looks like we are heading straight for them right now. And I need to know what altitude I need to be in. Oh, so yeah, that was Tijuana Tower for some odd reason. Departure, this is FedEx 257, we are flight level 4,000. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna follow my flight plan now. So I'm bring this up to 38, which is what we're supposed to cruise at, and we're gonna hit it. There's gonna be no transition altitude or nothing. See if we can do it in enough time. Ooh, turn that off. Click it back on to fucking reset. Let's get that altitude going. Ah, come on. Ooh, there it goes. Alright, I think we're gonna make it. Yeah, I think we're gonna make it. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I might just have to start a new flight with the ATC instead of trying to get it to reconnect. But it's always been funky with me for some reason. I don't know if anybody else is having issues with it like I do, or if it's just me on my side. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. There was a time where it was constantly disconnecting and I had to reconnect or just restart the whole thing during my whole entire flight. That was kind of getting annoying, honestly. So I don't know if that's like an ongoing bug that Say Intentions has, or again, if it's maybe my PC, which is definitely, you know, something that could be possible. But I just don't know. I don't know who to blame. Let me know who I should blame. Yeah, I'm just gonna start a new flight on the Say Intentions. Have them get IFR clearance. Departure, this is FedEx 257. Can I get IFR clearance to Portland?
Give me 1 second for that clearance.
Yeah, we made it over the mountains.
FedEx 257, SoCal departure, cleared to Portland, direct inland, then is filed, squawk 4466 and ident.
Let's see, they gave me a new squawk, so it's 4446. Let's see if they can repeat the squawk for me. This is FedEx 257. Can you repeat that squawk?
FedEx 257, cleared to Portland, direct inland, then is filed, squawk 4466 and ident. FedEx 257, radar contact. 1 2 miles north of El Monte at 12800 feet. El Monte altimeter 3000. Cleared direct inland.
And there we go. But you know what? I might hand this over to my co-pilot so I don't have to mess with it anymore. See if that kind of defaults it into working. Co-pilot, can you take over comms, please?
Sure thing, Todd. I'll handle the comms from here.
Good, appreciate that. Oh, now I need one of these people to bring me a coffee. But yeah, no, so I still run into a lot of technical difficulties. And I'm still trying to, like, some of the stuff that I run into, I can easily tell it's user error and it's my fault. And then there's some things that I can't tell if it's my fault or not. So I'm still trying to work on that part. But I think with more knowledge, more people helping me out, telling me, you know, hey, I did this wrong, or hey, here's a tip to make this go quicker or make this work better, or you know, stuff like that. I'll get better as time goes.
FedEx 257, Los Angeles Center. Good afternoon.
And never mind the female voice with the male co-pilot. I haven't changed my my settings back over from ATC. It's been a while since I've played, so I'm sure there's been maybe 1 or 2 updates to the ATC. Because I know when I did have a couple of flights when I first started back up again, I didn't have my co-pilot like I did from the last time I had played. So I had to go into the settings and switch that over.
Flight level 370.
But then, yeah, I switched that over and didn't switch anything else over, thinking, oh, you know what? All my settings got switched over. And actually, where they have the settings now for the say intentions is different also. It loads you into like one of their main windows of the ATC off of, you know, off of Google or whatever. It loads it up. Didn't used to do that. You just had that little side window, and if you went to the options, it would just pop up in the little side window that you have. So they switched all that up on me. It took me a while to even find the settings. I was like, wait, I used to be able to click this button and this would pop up and I'd have these options, and I was like, I don't see what I'm supposed to be what I'm supposed to be doing now. And then I realized they switched the what's it called, the UI. I think it's called the UI. I can't remember. But yeah, they switched it all up on me. So gotta relearn it, but it's alright. That's part of the fun. Definitely part of the fun. I tend to thrive in chaos and things that I don't know. Like the learning part of it is what intrigues me and gets me going and gets me excited or whatever to learn something that I don't know. And yeah, look, I'm doing all this talking and I forgot to put that into STD. And we're about 24 feet. We can speed this up now a little bit. I don't like to speed the sim when it's going up to cruise or descending down from cruise. But normally when I get a certain height, I'll speed it up to the, like right before the top of cruise, I'll turn it off so that way it can just level itself out normal without being, you know, without the sim being sped up.
Climb and maintain flight level 380.
And
flight level 380.
when I'm descending, I'll normally let it start descending for like 1,000 or 2,000 feet for a little bit, and then I'll speed it up. But then I'll turn it off once it hits like 15,000. So that way, you know, stuff kind of slows down and you're getting pretty close to, you know, descending down to your normal altitude for your approach and stuff like that. And so yeah, so let's speed this puppy up. There we go, it's going a lot faster. So I have another mic, but right now I'm just using my headset and it sounds pretty good to me, but I think I'm running into an issue where like I get ready to talk, if I just say like a couple of words, the first like split second or 2 split seconds of what I'm saying is cut off and then it kicks me on. And I think that has something to do with the mic that's attached to my headset, because it has this noise canceling thing to where like it kicks on and kicks off and stuff, and I think you're hearing some of that. And I know I have when I've rewatched the videos. I've heard it and noticed it and stuff. So again, if anybody has any pointers on that, that'd be cool. Like I said, I'm just fresh into doing this, so all the knowledge and wisdom I am willing to I'm willing to take in just to get better at this, you know, because if that doesn't happen, then I'm just, you know, it's going to be trial and error, and it'll probably be a lot slower of a process of me getting better if it's trial and error, which there's still going to be a little bit of trial and error even if I am getting knowledge and wisdom kicked onto me as I'm doing this with whatever comments people leave. But yeah, so It'd be much appreciated. And for you guys that don't know, and ladies, that little tone that went off right now was letting us know that we're getting close up to the top of our descent, or not descent, but altitude for our cruise. Oh shit! No, reset. So I don't know, you can increase it pretty fast. I don't know what the stable increase is. I know sometimes if you increase it too fast, stuff becomes unstable and your plane will just fall out the sky. Or it'll turn everything off, you know, the autopilot off and have you turn in just like one direction or something. It gets really weird. So I only go up to 4. But I don't know if it's stable at 8 or even higher at 16 times increase, even though you have the option on here. So yeah, if anybody has an answer on that for me, actually, that'd be cool too. This is the PMDG 737 800. Or no, well yeah, 800, but this is the freight cargo. So I don't know if it even, if the I don't even know if it matters if it's a different, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, you know, a different aircraft. If it, like, if all the PMDGs are able to go higher than 4, or if all the PMDGs aren't, you know, can't go higher than 4 and it just gets unstable. Or if it's not even PMDG, if it's just the sim itself, maybe the sim itself gets unstable. And then at a default, the aircraft gets unstable. I just, you know, I don't know any of those answers. I don't think I've heard any of those questions asked either. So again, you know, let me know what's up. Hit me up. Leave whatever comments you want. But we are pretty stable. So let's go ahead and increase this back up. Let's see how far we got. Let's see.
57, contact Oakland Center on 133.7.
Switching to Oakland Center on 133.7.
So we got a little over 320 nautical miles before the top of our descent.
Oakland Center, FedEx 257. Good afternoon. Level flight level 380.
So now that we're in cruise, I like to get all of my approach stuff dialed up, and I use Navigraph charts for that, which I think everybody does. No, that's a lie. Actually, I've seen some people use some different charts and stuff, but there's some free versions, and then you have Microsoft's version, which in the beginning, when I first played it, was wonky as hell. You know, sometimes it'd accept your flight, it wouldn't load it in, or yeah, there was a lot of hiccups on it. But I don't think it's that way. I still haven't used it though, because I'm so used to using SimBrief and Navigraph. They've been my go-to. All right, so let's open up the charts, and we'll do an overlay. So we can see our route coming in, because again, I don't have a transition, so they'll probably end up giving it to us, honestly. Yeah, because look, we are coming from this way, so either it's gonna have us, they're gonna give us a heading to fly this way and then in and avoid the hold, which I'm sure they'll probably do, or I'm just gonna fly to the hold, and if I'm not at altitude, I'll fly this all the way around until I get to altitude, and then once I get to altitude, I'll be able to come in and lock on and hit that landing like I'm supposed to. Now I said all that right now, and I was showing you on on the Navigraph with my mouse, and I don't even know if it pops up on the video. So we're going to see right now once I'm done with this. But yeah, okay, so let's look at this info. When we get to Sigio, they want us at 39,000. So let's dial that in. We'll drop this down all the way to 39, or not 39,000, but 3,900. And there we go. Got that dialed in. And so our course for final approach, which is the heading, or well, it's not the heading, it's just the course heading. Course heading. There we go. It's 212. Alright, so let's dial that in. This is something that took me quite a long time to learn by myself, was being able to read the approach plate and learning what all this info means. And there's still stuff on here that I don't know, but I know enough on here now to know what I need to look at and what I need to put into the airplane as I'm looking at this. Even if I'm looking at the ILS for the this right here is for the Boro right here, and yeah, it took me a while to figure that out. But all right, so we got the final approach course degree in.
Contact Oakland Center on 121.25.
And now let's get the ILS lock numbers in, which is 111.1.
FedEx 257.
So we'll come over here, drop that down. This is for the ILS, so we'll put in 111.10. Pop that back up.
FedEx 257. Good afternoon. Level flight
And then
level
we'll do the same thing on this side. 111.10. And pop that back up. Alright, so our ILS is in. Everything is good. So once we start descending, which it should catch automatically once we get there, but once we start our approach and we get close enough to hit our approach button to lock onto the runway, everything's dialed in. Oh no, wait, I lied. We need this side. There we go. So I don't know if both sides actually matter. I've just seen people do that, and I think it's for just in case, like if this one stops working for whatever reason, it default to this one, or vice versa. So I think that's why it's done. I'm not too sure. If anybody actually knows the reason for that, that'd be cool too. Let me know. Alright, so I think we got everything dialed in now, for real, for real. Got that course in, that course in. Our altitude is, our altitude is set for our descent. Yep, everything looks good. Oh, but you know what? No, I won't set that just yet, actually. Because more than likely they're gonna vector us in, so I'm just gonna put our heading facing us, so that way it'll be easier. Alright, so let's do a little bit. Make sure my heading is true. There it is. Zoom that back out now. And now we're just a little over 160 nautical miles away from top of descent. Coming up pretty fast. We can get rid of this now. But yeah, so learning all this stuff has been fun. Again, with the approach plates, like that's been super fun too. I've watched videos and stuff like that kind of help me out on what I need to look for on the approach plate and stuff. If I'm doing an ILS approach, if it's just a lock, in different aircraft, because some can do ILS approaches and some can't. They have to RNAV in, which that's fun. There's a lot of a lot of fun, cool RNAV approaches that I've done so far, and I'm still looking for more because I know they're out there. I just don't know them. And basically, for anyone that doesn't know, what makes them cool is that it's just a route you take in. You might be coming into a big city, and it might have you bank in on a hard left or something, and almost like a river to where you start slowly banking back towards the right and stuff, you know, for whatever reason, and you're getting a lot of the views of the city and whatever rivers go through, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and experience it in real life when you're on a plane is even better. And I didn't know it could get any cooler, but once I started learning all of that stuff, like what the RNAVs were and ILS approaches, once I had that knowledge in my head, and then I flew afterwards, and I mean like being a passenger on, you know, on a commercial jet, and knowing that, you know, filling this bank to the left and maneuvering and stuff, now I know it's probably an RNAV path or something, you know. So just having all of that knowledge and then experiencing it while you're flying, you're going through the steps and the motions in your head almost automatically, even with the ground, and then getting pushed back, and then getting ready for the takeoff, and, you know, and the departure and all that stuff. And so because you play this, or because you've learned a lot about aeronautics to be able to play this, it's automatically in your head now, which makes it even more fun to fly, and makes the experience even better, like at least 3 times better. Because now, even though you're just a passenger, to yourself, you're not just a passenger. You're a passenger that's in there, but you know what's going on. You know the steps. You know what's about to happen. You know what's happening, you know, more or less. The sounds you're hearing, you know, all of that stuff kind of just kicks in, and so now it just makes the experience, you know, 3 times, 4 times more better. Which makes it amazing for myself. I can only speak for myself, even though I'm saying all this. Yeah, so for myself, on a personal basis, it made the experience for me 10 times better. But then also, I used to do ground crew for an aircraft company, and that was one of the most funnest jobs that I had in my life, honestly. And I've done a good amount of stuff. I've worked with a lot of good people. One of my favorite places that I worked at with a lot of good people that I worked with was doing security back in California at a hospital. Outside of that, though, the best people that I worked with and the funnest job that I had was being part of the ground crew for a commercial aircraft company. That was really fun. It was super dangerous, and that aspect of it is always in your brain, so you always want to be super serious when you're out on the tarmac, and whether you're unloading the bags or if you're walking the aircraft out and you're the one that has to unplug the connection from the headset from the aircraft to the tug, which is what helps whoever's driving the tug at that time, you know, communicate with the pilot, or the pilot communicate with them. And so you have to walk past the engine. So you always want to be on your toes. FOD is I can't remember what the full meaning of FOD is, but basically it's trash or debris that's on, whether that's on the tarmac or in the area of where you work at. And you want to take that serious too, because basically, if it sucks up a dime, it could definitely hurt the engines, or stop the engines on a push if the engines are on, or, you know, or if they're coming in, taxiing in, to, you know, let people out because they've arrived to their destination. So you really want to keep an eye out for that stuff too, and potentially you don't know it, but you might have saved people. You know what I mean? That's not running. I mean, that's running through my head when I was working for them, because obviously I don't want people to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt when I'm on the flight. even before I had kids, I think about kids being on there and how fun it is for them. And even after I had a kid, I thought about that. You know, there's kids on flights. I don't want anybody to get hurt or injured. So just having that alone made me super serious on looking for all that stuff. And yeah, you still have fun, you know, with your coworkers while you're out there and bullshitting and all that stuff, and you know, the whole work thing. But you know, you definitely want to pay attention to a lot of stuff. So yeah, so it looks like we're about to hit the top of descent, about 5 nautical miles out. So I think once we hit, like, once it gets past a little bit of the 2.5, I think everything starts doing its thing and switching over for deceleration, to get ready to start descending. So let's see if I'm right. I feel like I am, but I could be wrong. So let's see, hit 2.5. Oh, it might just run up straight up onto the aircraft. Let's see. The engines aren't slowing down yet. Let's see when the engine starts slowing down. Ah, there it goes. All in all, it's been a pretty nice flight. I know I've kind of been just stuck in one spot with the camera because I was talking and stuff, but yeah, we'll get you some more angles here. One of the things that I wish and hope Microsoft does is give you biometric pressure. So like when you're coming in, and if you've ever watched airplanes land or take off, when it's like foggy, you kind of see like that air pressure build up around the wings, or like that stream of clouds that end up happening behind the wings. Almost looks like smoke coming out the tip. Stuff like that. You don't have that on here yet, and I think that would be amazing to have. I don't know if there is any sim out there that does that, or maybe there's a mod that's out there that does that, but I don't have any knowledge of it, and I think it'd be cool as hell to be able to see that type of stuff when you're coming in for a landing or taking off, because yeah, that shit just looks, it looks cool. I can't even lie, I geek out over it. Wing flex too is something that I enjoy to see. Just a little bounce that it has, you know, from just the little baby turbulence you're getting that you probably don't even feel. That feels normal because it's so small, but you get the little wiggle in the wing, you know. But let's speed this descent up a little bit now. Yeah, the visual you have up here is real nice. I can't even lie. Like seeing the mountains and stuff like that. Man, to be able to sit in this pilot seat just for a ride, so you can see their perspective on everything when they're flying, would be amazing. I would love to be able to sit in one of these back seats over here, you know, and just right there, sit right there would be perfect, because it's like right there in the middle. You see them hitting buttons. I'm sure they're talking to you and showing you stuff, and at the same time you get this fucking visual right here. Oh man. And then like on a cloudy day when you got to go through the clouds and you can't see nothing in front of you until you hit the top, or you hit, you know, low enough under them, is, I bet you that right there is crazy to see. I forgot to close that door. Everybody was looking in here. Somebody could have came in here and smacked me if they wanted to. Oh, you know what? Something I needed to do was get the altitude of that the airport, or not the airport, but the runway. So let's do that. Airport elevation 2385. Let's see, let's go ahead and put that in. Two, 385. Oh. Yeah, we'll do 2,400. We'll slow that back down now. Yeah, that little haze you get from the sun going through the clouds is something else. I have no clue how long this video is going to be.
FedEx 257, contact Portland.
I'm assuming an hour,
118.1.
but I don't even know.
Portland approach on 118.1. FedEx 257.
This cockpit view though, they've done a real good job, no lie, on having like just the sun hitting stuff, like just for instance like right here, because the sun's over there somewhere, you know, so you got that shine over here, and then it's shining across the deck right here, you know, and then when we end up turning, all that sunshine end up, you know, just shifting into, you know, into a different area of the cockpit, which is amazing. So let's see what
the ILS runway 10 left approach into Portland.
Telling me it's unable to do 270 knots at timbers. Okay, well, that's what it asked for, so that's what I'm gonna do. We need the index, go back to approach. We're gonna go full flaps, so 40-degree flaps at 137 knots. Sounds good to me. Yeah, flaps 40, speed 137. Alright, we're good. And it's gonna keep telling me about that, so I'm just gonna ignore it. And I don't know why that pops up. It's happened 3 or 4 times now on a couple of flights that I've done. And I don't know if that's user error or if that's just in the flight plan. Because obviously I'm putting in where I want to go, but the numbers and all that stuff are getting them put in automatically. So all I'm doing is saving it and loading it up. So whatever confliction is happening, I don't know if that's me messing up or if that's just the system. So yeah, if anybody actually knows anything about that or had that experience, let me know what's up. And I'll do my best on getting back to everybody on the comments. If I even get any comments, we'll see. But yeah, because I just really am doing this because I just want more knowledge. So I hope people that see this or watch this and even watched all the way through to hear my conversation and stuff can hit me back and let me know what's up. Because knowledge on this is something that I desire. I need it. I want to know more. I want to get better at it. But eventually, maybe one day I'll have a full-blown on cockpit like I've seen. I would love to have that because.
7, cleared Timbers 3 into Portland. At your discretion, descend and maintain 12,000 feet. Altimeter 3006.
Clear Timbers 3 into Portland. Descend and maintain 12,000 at our discretion. Altimeter 3006. FedEx 257.
Well, they want us to hit 12,000, so I'm gonna go back up and put that to 12,000. Just in case they're gonna start vectoring us different places. I can't be lower than a certain altitude while they're doing that, because then that'll be a no-no. There might be other aircraft on a lower altitude for the reason why they want me to stay at 12. Forgot what I was talking about though. But yeah, basically I just want more knowledge. I need it. Oh, the cockpit. But yeah, man, I would love to be able to have one of those and be able to get one of those. Not only for selfish reasons, but then that'll definitely help with, you know, getting my boy, he's 4, into this. He already loves airplanes and all that stuff. My hopes is to be able to get him into aviation so much to where, you know, he wants to do something like that and take that route.
Descend and maintain 7,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 7,000 feet. FedEx
Alright, so they gave us the clear to go past 12. But at the same time, you know, I'm happy as long as he's happy doing whatever he wants to do when he's older, you know, at the same time. But if I can kind of just give that little push towards aviation, that would be pretty cool. I'm already happy though, because he's already loving aviation as much as I do. But on his perspective, it's airplanes and airplanes flying and the engine and the fuselage, you know, and the cockpit. He doesn't know what all the buttons do, you know, but he knows, you know, the yoke and stuff like that, and what the cockpit is, the fuselage and the engines, and yeah. So he's a car kid and a monster truck kid and an aviations kid. So I'm kind of hoping, you know, he can follow more into aviation as he gets older. There's this youth group that's out here where I live called, I believe it's called Red Hawks, or I think it is Red Hawks, I think. And it's a youth group that people created for the youth to learn how to fly, get their pilot license and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. And it is kids of all ages up to, I think, like 7. Because like I have a little toddler, so I think he's too young. Because at that time, you know, obviously all they want to do is hit buttons and turn knobs and you know, all of that. So that's not, for flying and experiencing the flight is one thing, but you know, being passenger in the cockpit, you know, is a whole different story. Because you don't want someone just pushing stuff and pulling on things out of curiosity, you know, while you're flying, obviously. So I think there is a certain age it starts at. And then from that age, it's, you know, of all ages of the youth. But yeah, let me figure out what their name is truly called, and I'll get back to everybody on that. Because I'd like to say that accurately, because I follow them on my Facebook. I got them on you know, YouTube and a couple of other platforms and stuff. And for some reason right now I can't say their name correctly, and I'd like to, so yeah, that visual and the sound. sounds. Sometimes I like to just listen to everything. They get these sounds down so accurately, man. It's crazy. I definitely appreciate the work they do and the detail that goes into creating some of these third-party aircraft. All right. Let's see if I can find that name for you guys real quick. And while I do this, here's a short word from our sponsors. Nah, I'm just playing. I don't have no commercials on here. Who do I have a missed call from? Oh. Alright. Oh, okay. So the accurate name is Red-Tailed Hawks Flying Club. And because I live in Washington State, so they're based out of Washington State. So anybody that checks this out, if you live in Washington State, if you got kids or if you are a kid, you know, a teen or whatever, yeah, it's called Red-Tailed Hawks Flying Club. And you know, they got kids of, like I said, of all ages of the youth, starting off at a certain age, obviously, and you know, all races. Everybody's welcome. It's not, you know, it's not a specific race or anything like that, which I can appreciate. Cause it's a good thing, you know. It's a good thing, especially for the youth, to learn something like this, you know, even if it's just to have your private pilot license and not go any further than that, you know, just to have your private, and now you can take a flight from here to wherever you're trying to go, you know, for the weekend, just cause, or to get more experience, or to take somebody up that's never flown before, or for whatever reason, you know. But then also having it, you have this huge door that you have your foot in to potentially become something more than just having your private license. Maybe you want to be an instructor, you know, maybe you want to do the same thing people did for you, you know, teaching you to fly and stuff like that, or maybe even further than that, which is, you know, doing cargo runs, becoming a mechanic, someone that can fly and work on aircraft and stuff. And on the cargo side, you know, it can be smaller planes like Cessnas all the way up to, you know, a Boeing aircraft or something in between, you know, or go commercial. But I think the point of all that is that it gives you an opportunity to learn something really fun and really cool, though, at the same time. But then also, you know, it creates that door for you to be able to walk into potentially something really awesome. Especially if you geek out about aviation like I do. And like the nerd side of the aviation for me basically started when I was a kid, around my son's same age. My dad used to take me to the airport in LA when we lived in LA, when I was like 3, 4, 5 or something like that. And he'd sit me up on the wall of the airport, and I could just sit there and watch all the airplanes taxi out, taxi in, taking off, you know, landing and all that stuff. And that was something that stuck with me forever. And I can only hope that the same thing happens with, you know, me and my boy. And because my dad did that, is absolutely the reason why I'm doing the same thing for my kid. You know, because I hope that aviation bug just bites him. I hope it bites him as early as it bites me. I hope it never goes away. Because I think aviation is you know, is cool. Aviation, aeronautics. I'm sure there's probably some boring parts of aeronautics. I've learned, I'm not going to say a good portion of it because there's a lot to learn in avionics. But
FedEx 257, turn left, heading 220 vectors for the ILS runway 10 left approach. Left heading 220, vectors for the ILS 10 left approach, FedEx 257.
yeah, it looks like I'm already turning that way though, so hold on one sec. Let's zoom that out a little bit, see where we're at. Alright, they just gave us vectors. So, let me see what those vectors were real quick. Oh, I can't. But let's ask real quick. Co-pilot, can you request those vectors again, please? Let's see if the co-pilot can do it without me asking.
Sure thing, Todd. I'll ask for those vectors again. Portland approach, FedEx 257. Could you provide us with the vectors again for the ILS approach to runway 10 left?
Nice.
FedEx 257, turn left, heading 220 vectors for the ILS runway 10 left approach.
220.
Left heading 220 for the ILS 10 left approach, FedEx 257.
Alright, so they're gonna vector us in, I think, unless they tell us we get to a certain area and they tell us just to continue on our route, but they're probably gonna vector us the rest of the way in. Which I don't mind. Sometimes I like to follow my flight plan all the way through. So either I won't have ATC or I'll just ignore what they say. But then I love the aspect of that, of being able to have your flight plan and wanting to do that. But then ATC says, hey, you know, vector this way, you know, to set up for the ILS approach, or, you know, vector that way or something, you know. It throws you off of your flight plan. But even in real life, ATC trumps everything you have set for your flight plan, because they see, you know, everything you don't. Aircraft in the area you don't see, you know, all types of stuff. Because right now we might have an aircraft flying right past us, but 3,000 feet above.
Turn left heading 075. Descending to maintain 3500 feet. Turning left heading 075. FedEx 257.
Co-pilot, can you ask for the altitude change again?
Sure thing, Todd. I'll request the altitude change again. FedEx 257 requesting a change in altitude.
2,300.
FedEx 257, descend or descend and maintain your requested altitude. Descend and maintain requested altitude. FedEx 257. FedEx 257, descend or descend and maintain requested altitude.
2,300.
Descending and maintaining requested altitude. FedEx 257. FedEx 257, maintain 3500.
Oh, 3500.
Maintaining
There we go.
3,500. FedEx 257.
kick that back in. All right, we're going the right heading, dropping down to the correct altitude now. We should be good to go. That's one thing that's kind of hard to do that I've noticed.
257, proceed direct trail, descend and maintain 2300 feet until established on the localizer, cleared for the ILS runway 10 left approach.
Alright, I was wondering if they were going to do that.
Descend and maintain 2300 feet until established on the localizer.
We'll
Cleared
go down to
ILS,
23.
runway 10 left approach. FedEx
Nice.
257.
Where's trails at? Ah, there it is. Okay. Boom. Direct trails, and we're dropping down to 2300. Okay, cool. So something that I learned too is that this dotted line right here is the lock. So as long as your angle is taking you directly to this, you can hit approach. I don't know what this line is called, but if it's over here somewhere and you hit approach, maybe you're close enough to where it catches on and it'll lock on for you. But most likely it won't work and you'll fly right past. So now, because I know our route is gonna it's gonna take us directly to where this lock is, I can go ahead and hit approach right now, and I will. So now that's on. So there it is, our glide path right there. It popped on. The ILS is officially locked. So now it's gonna take over and take us to the course we need to be on, which is 152 on both sides. The ILS numbers are dialed in right here. We did that earlier. So everything is good to go, I think. We're dropping down to the altitude that we need to, and autopilot is taking care of all of this. The speed of the altitude we descend, all that stuff. So now that we hit 4,000, I am going to slow us down by dropping some flaps and popping the gear out. So on the FMC, it's asking us to be at 142 already for our speed at trial. So we're gonna make sure we do that. So I'm gonna bring us down to 142 right now. So that way we'll be at speed before we get there, because the runway is gonna come up pretty quick. Some more flaps in, slow us down a little bit more. Get the speed brake going just a little bit. Slow us down a little faster.
FedEx 257, contact Portland Tower on 123.
Yeah, we need some more.
Contacting Portland Tower on 123.775, FedEx 257. FedEx 257. Good evening. Established on the ILS runway 10 left approach.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
FedEx 257, Portland Tower, roger, continue approach.
Let's see, maybe I did something wrong? I don't know. Still, oh, I see.
2500.
We're still traveling to Detroit. Okay, alright. And we're still locked on there, but I think we're still good. I don't know if it's having us go away from where we need to be. I don't like that. I'm gonna trust in the process, so it might just have us flying in a hold right now. We might just end up turning all the way around. I don't know. I think that's what's gonna happen, so that way we can hit this part right here at the angle we're supposed to. But I kind of feel like we were lined up pretty good before, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll trust in the process. We'll give the aircraft the benefit of the doubt and my knowledge on putting in everything that we had to for the ILS to lock on. I think that's what I'm really putting the trust in, is that and not that I'm messed up somewhere and now we're just stuck flying in a circle. But we'll know for sure once we flip around, the nautical miles start getting lower and we get close enough to where trail switches over to Blazer. So if it switches over to Blazer, well, we've done what we were supposed to and the aircraft is doing what it's supposed to. So we'll see. Need to bring my flaps down some more. Bring that speed down to 142 like it wants still. And honestly, it wants 142 here, 142 there. But I have it set up to landing at 137 for full flaps, 40 degrees. So I don't know if that conflicts or not, or if I can still do that. Alright, looks like we are not turning, so let's go. No, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to do that. Let's that execute. There we go. Now we're going where we're supposed to, and I can hit the approach, and I think we'll be okay. Yep, we're good to go now. Well, I'm not too sure what I did, but I did something, I think, and I had to re-put in everything just right now. But we're good now. We're on the approach. Officially. Official. All 40 degrees of flaps. So now we're going to land at the slowest. Even though the FMC is asking for 142 on the runway. Not too sure why. Might be because of trees or something, and the level of altitude you would be at flying that low. But I feel like the glide slope that you lock onto gets rid of those factors. Should be somewhere over here, I think. If I'm correct, because this is Portland and the angle we came in, the airport is over here next to the river. And that's why it's one of my favorite runways, 10 left. That's because I believe 10 left is right next to the river, and 10 right is close to the river, but obviously it's on the opposite side, so it's just a little further away. Because 10 left and 10 right are right next to each other, instead of 10 left being on one side of the airport and 10 right being on the whole different side of the airport. So yeah, so either one would be good, but should be turning right here pretty soon. But yeah, these visuals get better and better with time, and I'm enjoying it. The only thing I want, which I think it's my PC, even though I'm running a 3060, is my ground visual to be a lot better than it is. And maybe I need to mess with my settings But I think that takes away from, you know, the flight visuals that you get when you're in the air and all types of stuff. So I think you got to play with it a bit. And I just don't know what the best settings for graphics wise would be for the 3060. I know there's one out there. I've browsed and looked before, but I just, you know, I just don't know fully what that is. So let's see what's going on. Again with another circle, and it put us back at trial. So let's just go directly to Blazer. See if that helps. I wonder why it's having me fly in a circle like that. Everything's locked. I waited and did what I was supposed to, but it keeps putting me in like a hold or something, so. Now it's straightening out. Are we gonna turn to the right a little bit? Or are we just gonna, okay, alright. I like that. Altitude needs to be 2,000 at that, so let's drop down to 2,000. And this time I'll alternate it so it does it, because we're going to Blazer. Well, I wonder what's happening. Guys, hit me up and let me know what I did wrong, because I feel like I had everything set up right, and for some reason it's stuck at 23,000. And yeah, so let's see. I even hit this and it didn't switch over for me. Alright, looks like we're gonna have to take this over. Turn that off. Maybe to kick down to 2,000 now that I reset it. See? Oh, looks like we're gonna do this by hand, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see. I haven't had to do this in a long time, so hopefully I can do this right. Ah, there it is, straight ahead. I see it. 10 left right there, I think. Now that everything's off, I really want it to lock on, because I want to know if I did something wrong, or if it's the system and the aircraft, or whatever. I really feel like it's me. a little high there. Go back down. I need to be at 2,000. The course is right, I believe. 152. Oh, final approach is 212. That's what was going on. Oh, and they won't let me put the course in. That's what I did wrong, guys. I put the wrong approach course in. I don't know where I got 152 at. Oh, this is the wrong one. KGEG and not PDX. Oh, I didn't load. I didn't load my new flight plan into the. So it was an old flight plan, and I was going off of. that, and that's where I screwed up.
FedEx 257, winds 120 at 16, gusting 25. Runway 10 left, cleared to land.
Nice. Alright, so we are doing this by
Clear to
hand.
land, FedEx 257.
Oh, here we go. Don't judge me too hard, guys. Yeah, I got the right speed in. Since they want me to go 142. Full flaps. We don't need any brakes. I'll use reverse thrust and the air brakes. Getting a little shaky because of wind. Looks like I'm a little high. Did learn that there's a set of lights right here that change from white to red, and 2 red, 2 white lets you know that you're right on course on the glide slope. And I can't remember if 3 red and then red all the way across is too high or too low. But long story short, you want 2 of each on there to let you know you're good, because 3 or 4 of just one color lets you know you are not lined up good at all. And I feel like I'm low or high, I don't know, but I feel like I'm lined up pretty good. Let's see.
1,000.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, too high. That's what it is. All whites is too high, so let's drop down some. Get back low. Without catching too much speed. Still too high, still too high. There we go. 1 red popped up. Let us know we're getting there. Let's get that 2nd red. Come on. There it is. There it is. Let's come up just a little bit.
400.
There we go. We're on the glide slope now. That's perfect. Oh, a little too high.
300.
Get a little low again. There it is.
200.
Nice. Aiming for the numbers. Aiming right for the numbers. Oh, too high. Alright, now it's not going to tell us anymore. Too far into it. Oh well. a little further into the runway than I'd wanted, but we're still gonna make this a smooth landing.
50.
Oh, this is where I should
30,
pull around, but we're
20,
going for it.
10.
Ooh, floated. Ooh, landed softly though. It was a smooth landing nonetheless. Welcome to Portland, Oregon. KPDX. Hope you guys enjoyed the flight. Even though we went in circles for a little while and the pilot got lost. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the landing because it was still smooth even though I didn't know where I was going.
FedEx 257, contact ground on 121.9er.
Switching to ground on 121.9er, FedEx 257.
Alright, looks like we're gonna get called to go to a certain spot to go park. I hope the cargo didn't get shaken up too
FedEx
much.
257. Good evening. Cleared of runway. Ready to taxi to the gate.
FedEx 257.
Yeah.
Taxi to FedEx Cargo 1.
So let's see, let's start up this APU now that we're here.
FedEx Cargo 1 via
back
Alpha.
on.
Alpha 5. Kilo
That's
Echo.
fine.
Hold short of runway 10 right. Then Echo 5.
Once that turns on all the way, we'll be able to get these back on, so that way we have power still after we kill the engines. But yeah, this was my first full flight. You know, making my first full flight. Honestly, I didn't know what I was going to talk about, but with a little bit of help of caffeine, I don't think I had a problem. I was really worried about having, you know, just long periods of not saying anything. I tend to do that sometimes. And that's just me sometimes wanting to hear this, like the natural sounds of the aircraft for a little while. And getting other people to hear it, you know, to listen for a little bit. But then also, man, you know, sometimes I don't know what to talk about a lot. And I know going live or doing live would help with that, because then I could talk to chat, and then, you know, they're actively asking something or telling me something or whatever. I could talk and bullshit with you guys and stuff, but yeah, so maybe one day I'll go live, but I'm still a rookie. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just learning, so that's why I'm always looking for any type of feedback on the comments or anything, because it helps, whether it's negative or positive, you know, it'll help, you know, so I don't mind, man. But again though, if it's negative, just know that I can take it, or I can dish it just as much as I can take it, so be wary on what you say if you're not ready to get clapped back, or you can't take it as well as you can dish it. Alright, so just a heads up and a warning. I'm a very cool, chill person, but I know how to talk shit too, so I'm not on here to get 800 million followers and viewers and shit like that, so I don't watch my words and what I say. But again, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna get these engines off and go make me something to eat, because that was a long flight and I'm fucking starving. But yeah, till next time, y'all have a good one.